Okay, so welcome to this session on Embodied NVC. So I'd like us, first of all, I'd like to invite you to center, ground yourself, just check your connection with the floor, with the earth, and recall your intentions. Whatever they are, just reconnecting with that spark in your heart that brought you here. So what's driven me, or what's brought me to run this workshop, is realizing that our feelings and our needs are within us. They're in our bodies. And we remember and we learn, we hold it in our bodies. So how do we learn the skills of nonviolent communication in a way that's available actually in our bodies, particularly in difficult situations, when the heat's on, when when you start getting upset or anxious or whatever. So I was exploring this, tackling this in different ways for quite a number of years. And a couple of years ago, I saw something in Aikido. I saw somebody doing something in Aikido which reminded me very much of particular choices that we make when we're using nonviolent communication, when we're in the spirit of nonviolent communication. So I thought, well, how could we combine those two things, the kind of physical movements of Aikido, which looked very much in the spirit of NVC. How could we combine those with some of the practices or the processes of nonviolent communication? So this is kind of Mark 3. This version is sort of Mark 3. And it's a way of embodying the choices that we have when we're listening to a difficult message. Okay? So if you recall the jackal and giraffe ears choices that we have, the four choices we have, we'll be going through those. I'll mention them a bit later, but we'll be going through those with movement, combining them with movement. So this will be a practical skills learning session. Just to let you know, there'll be movement, there'll be exercises. Okay, so who knows the skills of nonviolent communication and yet struggles to put them in practice? Show of hands? Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, same for everybody. So the key for me is fluency, being able to navigate the choices we have in any moment, even in conflicts and difficult situations. So the key is fluency. So for me, the big picture of nonviolent communication, which gives me an idea of what fluency might look like, is up here. The NVC tree of compassionate connection. Handout coming around. So here's the big picture. So we've got a tree, the tree of compassionate connection. The heartwood of this tree is the intention or the purpose of nonviolent communication, which is compassionate connection, so making a quality of connection that will lead to everybody's needs being met. So that's the heartwood of this here tree. The roots down here, the roots of this tree, are self-connection or self-empathy. And here's the specific process that we go through. Robert went through yesterday. You must have come across before, self-empathy process. So these are the roots of the tree. These reach down into the earth. And then in the outer world, above the ground, there's the tree of empathy. There's a branch of empathy on this side and the branch of self-expression on this side. So those are the two branches of the tree. So these are ways of reaching out to other people. You can imagine a tree, it's a bit like a human being reaching out with its branches. And the roots are self-empathy or self-connection. So who's come across, who's heard of the Eden Project down in Cornwall? Yeah? Okay, so a story about trees. You probably know that there's a connection between the roots and the branches of a tree. That the further the roots reach down and out, the more the branches can reach up and out. Yeah, for the stability and the resilience of the tree. Does that ring a bell? Yeah. Okay, it's the same for us. The further our roots reach down in self-connection, the more we're able to reach out, up and out towards other people in the outer world. Yeah. So a few years ago, I saw in the paper a newspaper article about the Eden Project. And the Eden Project, they have these beautiful biomes. They call them biomes, like huge greenhouses, and they grow these beautiful trees. One's Mediterranean, one's tropical. And a few years ago, it was 15, 20 years after they started, the trees started falling down. And they had no idea why. It's like they thought, we've kept the temperature, we've fed them all these things, we've looked after the soil, how could they get any more care than this? And yet they're all falling over. So they did autopsies. They did an autopsy on these trees, trying to find out what was going on for them. And what did they find? Can you guess?
No roots.
Hmm?
The roots weren't long.
Yeah, there were no roots.
They didn't have natural sunlight, either.
So if you know the answer to this, please don't guess. No, it's not that. It's not that. Why? So the trees had no roots to speak of. Okay? Despite their best efforts, the trees had no roots to speak of. Now, if you haven't heard the answer to this before, can you guess why these trees had no roots to speak of? Hmm?
They didn't have any love?
Well, that's a nice answer. I think they got a lot of love.
Not enough space, not enough light.
They had, these are greenhouses, they had space and light.
Because the greenhouses were...
Who said that?
I said no wind.
They had no wind, yeah.
No struggle.
These greenhouses, the trees, there was no wind in these greenhouses, yeah? No wind, no roots.
No. Oh, so they weren't forced to build
To anchor.
Yeah,
because
to
it was
anchor.
easy.
Yeah,
Life was
yeah,
too easy.
yeah. Roots grow in response to external challenges. Wind. So wind represents external challenges. It's only with external challenges the tree thinks, oh, I better grow some roots. I need some roots here. And then the wind blows from the other side, and it's, oh, I need some roots over here now. Yeah. So that's trees only grow roots in response to conditions, external conditions, stimuli. Yeah. Yeah. So what comes up for you when you hear this? When you hear this story?
You touch deeply.
Oh, okay.
I have deep roots.
I was thinking, don't go outside.
Don't go outside. That's it. Yes, and bring your live in a greenhouse. Bring your children up in a greenhouse. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Don't sleep near
Come
trees.
outside.
Come outside. Come outside with Sarah. Yeah.
Get some wind. Get some wind.
We need to have a lot of contact with others
Yeah.
in order to grow our roots.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It brings up an image I've had a lot before where as human beings we often see a tree growing in some like amazing place, like on the edge of a cliff, and it doesn't look like there's any soil, or it's really bent over from the wind, and there's a sense of, for me, I feel a sense of connection and beauty and awe. And this tree is growing with really a harsh environment, and yet it evokes this kind of inspiration. But we don't have, my observation is we often don't have those same responses to our own lives.
Ah, okay.
The twisted turn tree that's survived all these weather things, but when we're having to twist and turn and deal with confrontations, we feel like, poor me, or alas, or why can I have ease? But there's this beauty that comes out of it.
Yeah. So I wonder if we could extend the compassion we might feel, or connection we feel with trees, could we extend that to ourselves? Yeah, I guess that's the question.
What comes up for me is the quote, "The enemy of the great is not the bad. The enemy of the great is the good." So when things are bad, the enemy of the great is not the bad, the enemy of the great is the good. So when things are bad, that really helps us to motivate, to push, to go beyond in order to learn or grow or get past the pain.
Okay, so I have a slightly different sort of perspective, which is that I'm not saying that any amount of wind is good. I'm not saying that at all, because at any time in your life, the tree can get blown over. Yeah, if the challenge is too great at any point, the tree can get blown over. So what I'm saying is I'm just noticing a connection between wind and roots. I'm noticing, there does seem to be a connection. And I notice in myself that some of my deepest roots have been grown in response to some of the deepest pains. Yeah, so I'm noticing a connection. Yeah, I'm not saying any amount of wind is good or any amount of challenge is good. I think we need progressively larger challenges as we grow up. Okay, so I'd like to look at. So I mentioned fluency earlier, and I'd like to look. Well, what does fluency look like here? If we look at this tree, well, fluency looks like being able to move fluidly between self-empathy, empathy for others, and expressing myself. Okay, so those are the choices. Very broadly speaking, those are the choices we have in any situation. We can stay connected with ourselves in self-empathy. We can choose to empathize with others, or we can express ourselves, express what's in our heart to others. So we can look at this as a map of the choices we have. Okay, self-empathy, empathizing, self-expression, or just staying connected with our intention. Yeah? Now, I also mentioned the 4 ears, so I also need to trace that onto this map. So here are the jackal ears, judging and blaming others, judging and blaming myself, down here in the roots. Yeah? So actually listening to these voices of judging and blaming others, judging and blaming myself. And then giraffe in, giraffe in is self-empathy here, so that's the rest of this process, observation, feeling, need, and request. So that's wearing the ears in. I'll get the ears just to make it clear. Okay, so from the top. So first of all, judging and blaming others, jackal out, down here. Judging and blaming myself. So again, it's down here, judgments. Then giraffe in, self-empathy. That's the rest of this process. Well, you could also include the judgments, but anyways, that's the rest of this process. Self-empathy, giraffe in. And finally, giraffe out, empathizing with others. That's up here. Yeah? So these are the choices we're going to work with, okay, today, these choices. We're also, towards the end, we're also going to include self-expression, so expressing myself to others. So fluency means being able to move between these choices of like which ears you wear, you know? How could we embody these choices and rehearse them with movements and words? That's the rest of the workshop. How we can embody these choices, these 4 choices, plus expressing using movement and words. So I'm going to demonstrate this right now. So I've asked Jana if she's willing to help me demonstrate this. And Jana, you're going to stand over there by David, and you're going to walk towards me when we do it. Now, I said that these are choices we have when we listen to a painful message. So I'm going to give Jana a message to say to me. Okay? And this is a message I heard that was particularly painful in my life. So Jana is going to say to me, your time estimates are crap. Okay? Your time estimates are crap, which is a real message that I heard in the past. And I'm going to respond in a number of different ways. I'll show you the first 2. Okay? So first of all, is that clear what's going to happen? Yeah? So this is a situation. I'm the receiver. I'm the listener. This is a situation from my life, and Jana is going to role play the other person giving me this message. Your time estimates are crap. Okay? And I'm going to start with my ears on this way, so jackal out, so judging and blaming the encore. Okay, and she's going to put up her hands like this, 45 degrees, and she's going to walk towards me slowly, repeating the message. Okay, off we go.
Your time estimates are crap.
Well, what about yours? What about yours? Look in the mirror for once. You just got double standards. Yeah? So what was I doing?
Giving as good as you get.
Yeah, giving as good as I was getting.
Fighting back.
Fighting back. Struggling, yeah.
Resisting.
Resisting, yeah. Yeah.
Pushing back.
Pushing back. And what were the words? What was I doing with blaming? Yes, so I was blaming the other person. I was blaming the oncomer. Yeah? Is that clear? Okay. You're going to get a chance to do this in a moment, so I hope you're remembering this. Okay, so now we're going to do it again, and I want you to keep repeating the message. Okay? And I'm going to do something different. I'm going to swap these ears around and see what happens. Okay, off we go again. Same intensity. Repeat the message.
Your time estimates are
Oh
crap.
God, no, she's right. I'm terrible.
Your
I just
time
shouldn't.
estimates are crap.
I shouldn't. I've really cocked it up this time. Shit.
Your time estimates are crap.
All right. Okay. So what was I doing? What?
Blaming self.
Blaming myself. Yeah. Anything else?
Shrinking.
Shrinking. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
Drawing.
Huh?
Guilt, shame.
I was agreeing. I was agreeing with her. I was probably feeling guilt and shame. Almost certainly, yes. Yeah. Making myself small. Yeah. I was retreating. I was collapsing and retreating. And I was, blaming myself. Yeah. I was taking it in, saying, oh yeah, that's right. I've heard those jackals before. I know them. They're mine, yes. Yeah? Okay?
The energy was kind of towards yourself.
Yeah, I was collapsing, retreating and collapsing.
Out of touch with your needs, just thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is Jackal, yeah? So the words plus the movements. Yeah. So those two, it's the two things together which seem to actually support the learning and make the choices real. So it's both words and movements. Yeah. Just check that you have a situation to work with and a message that you want to give the other person. And there's a bit of guidance. I sometimes talk about different levels of examples. So like level 1 is something that's a bit irritating. Level 2 is something I get angry or depressed about. And level 3 is like total overwhelm, crisis, life crisis. I suggest you choose an example that's somewhere between level 1 and level 2, or maybe closer to level 1 for this exercise, okay? So rather than going for the high jump, for this exercise, I suggest you try something that's like maybe 1, maybe 1.5. Okay, is that clear? Yeah, if you have a choice. Yeah. And that way you'll get more learning from the first run through of this exercise. Okay, so does everybody have a situation and a message to work with? Does every receiver have a message? Just check. And when you do, give it to your oncomer. One more thing, the receiver is in charge of this exercise, okay? The oncomer is the role player, is role-playing for the benefit of the receiver. That's really important, okay? So the receiver, this is your exercise, okay? Now, the receiver, you have you're in charge of how the volume, how loud you want the message, how fast you want it to come, the frequency of the message, and how quickly you want the oncomer to come towards you. So you direct the oncomer, okay?
I am. There is a place for me. I am. There is a
You're not important here.
Go on, come towards
It was all a bit of a laugh until I went like that.
Oh, I see.
It was black and white. It was a line. Carry stand.
Yeah, it's that kind of collapsing arching that kind of then lose the sense of empowerment, I guess, something like that.
Yeah, it's just haven't got it. You know, other positions are more important. It's all, you need to know your position.
Yeah, never leave you never
Why shouldn't I? You always do.
That was the best bit. That was the great bit. Yeah. If you're finished reviewing, how was that for both of you?
When I was fighting back again, there was that sense of I couldn't hear you. I was shouting my message. Just aggressive, stirring.
Doing this exercise, which did you find easier or more familiar? Who found pushing back, resisting, judging, blaming? Who found that easier? It's probably about a third to a half. Okay, and who found collapsing, retreating, judging, blaming yourself? Who found that easier? It's about just over half. Yeah. And who found both equally familiar? Okay. Yeah.
Both equally familiar.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure about what means easier for me.
Well, like more
pleasure
familiar.
for me.
More familiar, I guess.
Familiar?
Something like that. Yeah.
Both, yeah.
Yeah. Now the thing is, what you're familiar with, you tend to do more of. You tend to kind of, sort of default. It's like your default. You either push back or you retreat, or some people do both. Yeah. Devorah.
I have a question about the exercise and your intention.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if it was to explore it through our bodies and then uncover things like what you're saying, like what is more familiar, to have more self-understanding and whatever the next steps are. Or if ideally you would have wanted us to fully really go into the emotional place, like how therapeutic on that kind of level. And I wasn't sure.
Right.
So what?
So in terms of learning and healing, so you mentioned therapeutic. In terms of learning and healing, I was suggesting like level 1, level 1.5, which is more towards the learning end of the scale, whereas 3 would be you'd be doing some healing. Yeah. So I'm suggesting stick to the 1.5 level to get learning. Yeah. So and learning what? Learning that we have these choices about how we respond to messages. So we can either fight, resist, push back, judge and blame the other person, or we can collapse, retreat, and blame ourselves. So just making that really conscious. Those are choices, real choices that we have about hearing any message. Okay, so I'd like to add a third choice into the mix. Fortunately, those are not the only choices that we have in our lives about how we respond to difficult messages. So choice number 3, Jana, can you see? So Jana's going to give me the same message, and this time I'm going to respond with my giraffe ears on, so giraffe in, so taking a time in, so self-empathy, so connecting with my feelings and needs, okay? And so come towards me, similar intensity to last time when we were doing this. Yeah.
Your time estimates are crap.
Keep walking. Okay, stop. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so that was the movement. So now I'd like you to slow it down like half speed, and I'm going to put some words in there as well.
Your time estimates are crap.
Okay, so I'm pretty scared at this point. And I just need some space, so I'm just going to step to the side and let this one go through. And I'm noticing even now I've lost the connection with Jana, and at the same time I still need to stay connected with myself at this point. Okay, so what was I doing?
What is your question?
What was I doing? What did you see me doing? Compassion for myself?
Giving yourself a space.
Giving myself space, yeah?
Giving yourself out of the situation.
I was stepping to one side.
So you're tracking what your response was.
Yes. Yeah.
Paying attention to what was going on in you.
Yes. Yes. So my intention was internal. Was with yeah.
Taking self-care.
Yes. Yeah. Self-empathy, self-care. Yeah.
Voicing your feelings and needs.
I was doing that. Yes, for the benefit of the exercise. Yeah.
Not engaging in the drama.
Yeah. I was paying attention to my response to the drama, or to the message anyway. Yeah. I was paying attention inside to what's my response to this. Yeah. Yeah.
You're partially leaving the situation so that you have more time and space to connect with yourself.
I want to say that I'm stepping aside.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just momentarily stepping aside, just so I can have the space to connect with myself.
And it creates time and space.
Yeah.
You're not in the pressure of an immediately reaction.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting yourself out of the stream of.
That's it. So I'm protecting myself by stepping to one side. Yeah. Not making a big song and dance about it, but just stepping to one side, just from here to here. Yeah, and letting the movement go through, letting the energy go through. Yeah. Okay.
It's really, I just have to
Yeah,
add
go on.
something really quick.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you stepped aside and you were still facing in this direction as compared to a choice where somebody might like step aside with their back towards what's going on.
Yeah.
Which is a choice that sometimes people make.
So that symbolizes that I'm still actually caring for the connection with the other person. I'm not, as you say, I'm not turning my back on them. I'm still facing them. I'm still maintaining, I'm still looking where they're going. And I also noticed, like, pretty soon I was also kind of feeling some sadness about temporarily losing the connection with them, even though I know full well that what I need to do is take care of myself right now. Yeah, and that means paying attention to what's in here, primarily.
Sadness to losing the connection is what's happening in that moment for you.
Yeah. Well, losing at least some of the connection. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'd like to do both. To be able to stay connected with myself and the other person. I mean, that's what NVC. That's what I understand NVC is about. Is really seeing if we can maintain connection with ourselves and others. Yeah. We'll do it one more time. Then you can have a go. Okay. So let's see it again.
Your time estimates are crap.
Okay. So it's still fear. It's still fear and just needing to protect myself and space. Okay, so another day it might have been anger, yeah? But today it's fear. It's fear of losing the connection. It's fear of, things getting more difficult and painful and so forth. So protection. Well, just to keep it simple, I'd like you just to walk past, okay? Just to stay in the same direction with the same message, and just to walk through.
Say the message at the beginning.
And repeat it. Well, repeat the message. Yeah.
Okay. Make it last for a moment and then
It's like going into an observer position.
Okay.
stepping aside.
So it's like immediately I can breathe.
So I invite you to come back to the circle and we'll review that. What did you notice that time? What's the feedback? Found it quite difficult? Yeah? Yeah?
Because I've obviously, there's part of me that gets some sort of payout from using Jackal out.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
To step aside left me in quite a feeling of sort of confusion and sort of almost deflation.
So what are the needs behind or underneath those
needs,
feelings?
Were to sort of be seen and be sort of efficient and competent.
Yeah. So to be seen.
To be capable.
Yeah. Okay. So a sense of like being in your power, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Excuse me, but is this a feeling or is it a...
We're looking at the needs now. We're exploring the needs. So the feelings were confused and deflated. Deflated means, yeah. And the needs were heard something like to be seen and to be in your power, yeah. To have a sense of to be empowered, something like that, yeah. Okay.
Asking feedback.
Yes, feedback. Yes. Can we go for
I find it interesting to sit with the feeling that arose. So the feeling was to be sad, and to. The interesting thing is to sit with it's okay to be sad.
Yeah, feelings are feedback. Yeah, that's the beauty. That's one of the really beautiful things about nonviolent communication. Feelings are feedback. Feelings give us beautiful feedback about needs. Really?
Yeah. Interesting experience with Rick because we had a time for feedback where I acknowledged that in receiving the message I was. Feeling some sensation of burning. The energy was burning my body, and so kind of I was trying to protect myself to avoid, and it kept coming towards me, and so I realized in the briefing that maybe if you could slow down, just say the message once, I could kind of connect more. But he chose to keep going, so I left the room. And then I realized how sad I was, very deeply sad, and I think the need that I identified was something around consideration. And
funnily, like me as the aggressor, and I had no intention in my head of connecting. I was just going, listen to me, I'm burning, listen to me. And then when Remy actually broke that connection, I just folded in my, that energy just folded, and there was real mourning that the acknowledgement that I was actually looking for connection with this guy, but I hadn't admitted that to myself. I was at this judgment. Yeah. It was so strong. The door slammed. She left my life.
Yeah, so that's a really powerful message coming from the oncomer, that the oncomer is desperate for connection. If only we could see it, if only we have the space to acknowledge it, yeah? And if you break that connection, then there's nowhere for it to go. It's like there's suddenly, well, you know, yeah? So that's feedback from the point of view of the oncomer. Yeah, question.
Well, when I stepped aside, I noticed I changed my posture, and I kind of felt a space in that, and a kind of real what's going on for me, you know. Yeah. And that felt really something I could do, definitely, to kind of.
Yeah.
I must admit, I also went to the breath. I found that it's just a natural friend, and where you don't have to. It's free from all the passions, and then actually it gave me the space to realise that there was quite deep sorrow in me. What I thought was anger was actually sorrow, deep sorrow. So that was good.
Yeah, so I had two beautiful things there. One was posture, that actually you could just reconnect with yourself through your posture. You could just change your posture slightly, like I'm doing now, and just get some movement into your posture, rather than freezing, yeah, or fighting back, which are both kind of, you know, inflexible. Like centered self-empathy tends to be a bit more flexible, a bit more kind of fluid in the body, yeah. And I saw you doing that. Your shoulders went back a bit, and I saw you doing that. And the breath as well, just coming to your breath. That's a very effective way of coming back to your feelings and needs, because the breath will give you information about what you're feeling very directly. Yeah.
What I discovered was that the feelings were not what I expected.
Oh, okay.
And they were also very transient. So I felt frightened, but then it just disappeared like within a few seconds, whereas the feelings from the first ones hung around for a long time afterwards. So when I'm paying attention to what's going on in me, I was surprised. Yeah, I was frightened, confused. But they then, the more I paid attention to them, they just disappeared. Yeah. It was like calm. Like, okay, let's try that again. The same thing happened the second time.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
So a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, he says, feelings are like ferrets, okay? Feelings are like ferrets. You know, as soon as you pay attention to them, they've gone, you know. As soon as you kind of, you know, it's like, oh, where's it gone? You know how ferrets wriggle and shift, they're always on the move. Feelings, you know, tend to be like that, you know, particularly if you pay attention to them. First three choices that we've just done. What was it?
Jackal out.
Jackal out.
Jackal in.
Jackal in.
Jackal shake it off.
Giraffe in.
And giraffe in. Yes. Yeah. So judging and blaming the other, judging and blaming the oncomer, judging and blaming myself, and the one we just did, which was self-empathy, self-connection. So giraffe in, as we call it. So now adding in the fourth choice. So this one's going to be giraffe out. So this, I'm going to be empathizing with Yana. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to do a quick bit of this first, a quick bit of self-empathy first, and then switch the ears around. Okay, so if you can come like very slowly like this towards me, that's good. Okay, off we go.
Your time estimates are crap.
Where are my jackal ears? Just a minute, excuse me.
Your time estimates are crap.
You're not so beautiful yourself, you know. All right, let's see. Oh, okay, no, come on, keep coming.
Your time estimates are crap.
All right. Oh God, not again. Oh God. No. So feeling just frustrated right now. I'm just feeling really frustrated, and I just need some space just to kind of connect with myself. Yeah, that'll do. So that was the. So that was giraffe in, okay? So now I'm going to add in empathizing with with Jana. Off we go again.
Your time estimates are crap.
Much slower. Sorry, can we go back much slower?
Your time estimates are crap.
Okay, so I just need some space, and I want to stay connected with myself, and I also want to stay connected with her. So I'm going to put my arm up, and I'm going to walk with her, and I'm just going to walk along beside her for a moment. So you're feeling pretty pissed off right now, Jana?
Yes.
Okay. And is that because you want some kind of respect? Respect for your time?
No, it's because I want to have clarity about our time.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you want clarity about the agreements we made?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
I want to use my time in a good way.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, so would that give you a sense of ease in your life? A sense that you could just relax and do...
Yeah, and time for other things.
And time for other things.
If we don't start, why would I sit around here and waste my time?
Okay, so would you like the understanding that you've got plenty of other things you need to be doing and could be doing?
Yeah, I'm not sitting here waiting for Shantigarbha when he feels like starting.
Okay, so would you like the understanding that your time is precious?
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Okay, okay.
So what I think I saw was start with self-empathy.
Yeah. Jackal, giraffe in.
The moment you feel the readiness to connect with them, to then
turn the ears
out, move physically with them where they're going, and then see how you're able to empathize with them.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, keep breathing and just see if there's a way to, apart from walking with them, see if there's a way you can put some words to that. Yeah? Okay, so first of all, what did you notice? What was I doing this time round?
Took time for yourself first.
Took time for myself first, yes. Roots. Yeah, deepen the roots.
And what I liked about it was that inquiry. You said, oh, where am I? Was that first bit. And that seems critical to actually get that question.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Yeah. Where am I? Yeah.
You were using touch to kind of answer that in a way when you took her arm, not ground you perhaps.
Yeah, oh, that was interesting. Yeah, it reassured me that I was going to be connected with her as well. Yeah, that I was going to stay connected with her through this interaction. Yeah.
And I guess you were checking that you had that space available.
I was.
If it wasn't available,
yes.
You would have stayed in the self-empathy bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Where am I? Okay, I'm good. Okay, no, I do want connection.
Yeah, yeah. So I really checked with myself if I had the space to empathise with her. Yeah. I didn't just say, I have to empathise, I should empathise, because it doesn't happen. If you say to yourself, I should empathise, the other person gets that. The other person realises, oh, this person thinks they should empathise. It's only if I really want connection that I choose to empathise with.
Seems
Devorah.
Even further than the hand on her shoulder and walking with her, the walking with, even more than just the creating connection, it seems to contradict the enemy image that we often have as seeing the person as aggressor.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, oh,
yeah,
they're just this person, I'm walking with them.
Yeah. And I'm going in their direction. Yeah. I'm choosing to go in their direction. So empathy is about meeting people where they are, or in the direction they want to go in. So I'm not agreeing with that direction. I'm not saying, oh yes, this is the only direction we can possibly go in. I'm just choosing to go in that direction with that person because I want connection. Yeah.
I just add a little bit to it because I found myself in the past that I was doing it, like through an LP. You go to where the other person is, but there is no the intention. That's what I think I found on NVC is this pure intention from inside.
Yeah, the intention, I want connection. I want connection with myself, I want connection with others. Sometimes I get both. Yeah?
So I heard you say, are you pissed off?
Yes.
And then I oppose. And I heard you say something, are you...
Respect. I guess my first guess was respect, yeah.
Yeah, I think, I don't know at one point, but you were facing each other and talking to each other.
Yeah.
For me, I think I heard and saw that you attempted to empathize with her and a couple of things didn't land for her. And that gave me a sense of relief of you don't have to do it right. And I also want to double check, were you, even though he wasn't getting it right, was that causing you to feel more agitated or helping still?
No, it was helping, because even though it wasn't resonating, I felt that he was listening to me, that he was interested in what I was feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that helped me also to explain to him more why I was pissed off, which probably I didn't even think about it myself before. I was just pissed. And then, because I don't want to sit around here waiting. So that's actually
So even though my empathy guess wasn't accurate, I got more information, which helped me to tune in more closely. Yeah.
You almost stamped her foot at one moment, no, and then gave you what the need was when you guessed didn't land with it.
Yeah. And what the other person gets is the intention. They receive the intention, and that's what they receive as empathy. It's not the words. The words are just a kind of a way of communicating that, or a vehicle, as it were, or a way of passing a gift across, as it were. You know, it's the intention which counts. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to try? Yeah, go on.
So talking about the intention, was that like a body feeling of like, actually, I like this person and I want to communicate?
For me, it's that I want connection with myself and others. I want both, you know. I mean, and as I say, sometimes I get both, you know.
Yeah. Because sometimes I've not then, but I've just heard language, and I haven't really felt.
Yeah, for me, it's down here. It's down here. It's like I want to stay connected here, but also I really treasure the connection here as well. Yeah. So I want to see if I can get both.
Yeah. I really appreciate that inquiry, what you just were asking about that, and hearing your response. It's an embodied intention because. Similarly, I've experienced where somebody uses their intention as like an excuse, like they might be doing something hurtful, but their intention is something different, and then I'm just saying, they just negate my input because I'm wrong. They're whatever, a nice person, their intention was da-da-da. And there's the separation is continuous. It's not an embodied intention that reaches.
Yeah. And it's really that just simply the intention to connect. Simply, I want connection, and I'm choosing now to create connection through empathizing. This is a choice I have. I'm fully aware that I could stay self-connected in self-empathy. Yeah.
I've become aware of how much I wanted to quick fix, go to solution, and sort of, all right, well, I'll try and do this, and I'll try and do that, and I'll stop. And in fact, the overall effect as you were doing it was that it was actually, at one level within it's huge, but at another level it's very little, in the sense that we're just saying, okay, I acknowledge you. And it's amazing. It was amazing because you know what goes on in the inner worlds, but actually the effect of, oh gosh, I actually have to do remarkably little, in the sense that I'm always wanting to go to the hurdle. You don't have to go to jump over the hurdle at the end, because that's judging and labelling. You know, that's going to.
So I'm totally focusing on the connection aspect of this interaction, of creating connection. If we're connected, we could sort out strategies. We've got a million strategies. We've got a million ways of dealing with it. If we're connected. Well, that's the precious thing that we're focusing on here. So, do you want to try? Do you want to have a go? Yeah?
Yes, I'm understanding. Gentleness is not
Expressions of Peter, you are so selfish.
Yes, this is, I hear you, and I'm noticing what's going on here, and I'm going to withstand the storm of the wind, because I know that's, if I do the other, that could make things a lot worse.
How did you find that? How did you find that part of the exercise?
surprising.
Surprising? Could you say a little bit more about surprising, just to give us a bit of a flavour?
The first thing that surprised me was that I could quickly get in touch with my curiosity, but didn't have any sense of longing to connect.
Okay.
So I immediately thought there was something wrong with me and I should sort that out first. And then
In which role?
So self-empathy, more self-empathy, I think. Yeah.
And then I did it again. I was just allowed myself to follow my curiosity, and then it just flowed.
So what I really like to hearing about that is that it's curiosity that leads me to go out and find out about other people. It's that curiosity, that natural sense of curiosity, and that for me is, you know, really this intention. You know, is when I'm in touch with that. In NVC, we make a distinction between like intellectual guessing and empathic sensing. So empathic sensing is when we use this bit down here, heart and guts, to sense what's going on for the other people. And this isn't just like metaphor or symbol. This is real. These are the circuits, the neural circuits. We pick up we resonate with other people. We pick up resonance down here. So this is where I pay attention when I'm empathizing. It's very different from making guesses about what the other person is doing or needing or whatever, and it feels different. So what I encourage you to do is next time you get a chance to practice this is to see if you can drop down here and maybe just wait for the words to come. Yeah. So I'm going to repeat some of the steps we've already done, and then add in another one. And this one is going to be, I'm going to be expressing what's going on for me. I haven't done that yet. I haven't said what's in my heart yet in these 4 choices. So far, I've just been listening. I've just been listening in different ways. Yeah. So I'm going to demonstrate giraffe in, so taking your time in, self-empathy, and then empathizing with Jana, and then expressing myself.
Your time estimates are crap.
Okay, so this time some kind of panic, and if you just step over. Yeah. And I'm going to go with her because I still want that connection, and I'm going to go wherever she goes, just for the time being. So you're pretty pissed off at the moment. You want some respect.
No, I don't want respect. I just want clarity about the time.
Okay, so you want clarity about the agreements we make.
Yes, and also that you stick to them, or that you communicate if you don't.
Okay.
I just don't want to sit around waiting for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you've got loads of other things you need to do. Would you like that understanding?
Yeah, I have lots of beautiful people here. I would like to talk to them, and I don't want to sit around waiting here.
So is your time precious to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Very precious.
Okay. Okay, so I have a sense that we've got enough connection to be going on with. So we'll keep going. And now I'm going to lead her in the direction I want to go in. Okay, so this is symbolized by me sort of just saying, oh, well, now we're going to go in here. Now that we're actually connected, I have a possibility to kind of bring myself in. What's going on for me? I'm feeling really torn at the moment, Jana, because I want to stay connected with you, and it's difficult for me to stay connected. When you say those particular words, something happens to me. I get kind of a mixture of fear, get upset, I sort of lose the connection. So I know that you want the connection. I know that you kind of, it's precious to you. And when you say those words, I lose it. How does that sound to you? How do you feel when you hear that?
I feel a bit sad about it, and so I get thoughtful, like, yeah, because I want to be able to express myself, and I was really angry in this moment, and maybe I didn't express it in a very nice way, but still I wanted to express that I'm...
Okay, so going back into a bit more empathy. So you kind of have some sadness about losing the connection, and at the same time, you'd really like understanding that you were really angry, and that was how it came out.
Exactly, and yeah, and it's not sadness about losing the connection, but when I hear you say that you're getting afraid, then it makes me feel. Now I have German words. Yeah, it's just some sadness that I couldn't express it in a way that you can stay open with listening.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, right now I feel some sadness as well, that we weren't able to stay connected in that situation when it was really important for both of us to stay connected. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just pause there. Can you see it's a dance? It's a process. We're just taking steps in a process. Okay. So how was that for you this time?
It was very quick that I was moved, that I was touched and felt the connection even on a different level than just know that you listen to me, but also to see you. I saw you for the first time with your feelings and needs.
So when I brought myself in, when I said what was in my heart.
Yeah,
okay.
that was very quick, that then I didn't go in the anger anymore, but I was like, oh wow, Shantigarbha has also some feelings there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And how was that to watch? What did you notice?
I noticed that you, once there was some acknowledgement from Yana that about you, giving you some empathy, then you made sure you came back and said, but you were angry. You know, you give something back to her so that she hasn't got to keep going.
Yeah.
So that you can keep the dance going.
Sure. I'm switching between expressing myself and empathizing with her. And did you notice I did switch a couple of times? Yeah. And also keeping the self-empathy going.
I noticed the self-empathy was about what happened between you two, not about why you're late.
Well, that might come up later, but yeah.
It seemed quite striking the way you then took the lead.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to come with you, and now I'm asking you to come with me.
That's the balance.
That's very
Yeah.
What you might have really wanted as well.
Sure, yeah. That's the balance. It's like I choose to go in her direction, and then later on there's a space for us to go in my direction, the direction I want to go in. Yeah.
I'd like to add something.
Yeah.
What the Jackal and me was expecting when you said, I want to tell you how I feel and I'm feeling really torn, the Jackal expects something like, but I'm right in my, why I came late or whatever, or you are wrong or something in a Jackal way. And that you made yourself vulnerable, you showed yourself and you told me that you were afraid. That was kind of really taking the wind out of my sails to really, wow, okay, there's a human being, and it created trust. Yeah.
Vulnerability creates connection, creates trust. Yeah. Okay, one more, and then I'd like you to try it. Yeah.
I found myself feeling a little frightened.
Yeah.
I think I was missing. You obviously felt sure that it was okay to switch, and I think in your situation I would have wanted to make that explicit.
Okay.
Would you have time to listen to what I want to say or something like that?
There we go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So have you got time to hear what's going on for me? Yeah. Are you willing to hear what's going on for me right now? Just to make the switch. Yeah. Okay, in pairs, 10 minutes. I'll ring a bell halfway through. Use the time as you wish.
Does that work for you? I mean, do you want to have a go?
I was
really happy to hear this guy. He's angry. He's very angry. He felt angry coming up, and I need to.
I'm very happy to do it.
Where is it?
It's how we find acknowledgement of that.
Good.
I discovered that and find that out for myself. I'm not interested in this pressure.
So, you'd like to hold hands? You're welcome. So, just kind of reflecting for a moment. Was this session helpful? What touched you? What did you learn? What will you take away with you? Okay, are we done? Lunchtime. Thanks for hanging in there. Thank you.